Right, in this video, I'm going to talk about just a general standard window. Could be any window, but this is a UK window. I'm just going to give you a few examples of the most used techniques that I use. And what you'll find on window cleaning videos, what people make is, it's all recycled stuff. And it's all stuff that's already been said. And the difference between what I say is it's only recycled stuff that I've said. Because I don't work like anyone else, and I advise nobody do what other people do on YouTube and use the tools and the techniques that they use and the solutions and everything else that they use. I'm okay to repeat myself, but, well, I think so anyway, but other people, they just repeat other garbage information, and that's why window cleaners are the way they are. They can only learn what's already been taught, and what gets taught is rubbish. So I'm going to focus first on this window, and I'm going to use two types of squeegees. A standard squeegee, most people use the standard, not standard channel, but a standard handle, and then we use some pivoting tools as well, and the benefits that each can give. So on this narrow window, just like my pole related video that I did not so long ago, down, up and over, right? So I'll start roughly in the middle, I'll come down, up and over. I'm not really focusing too much on my squeegee manoeuvring, turning. I'm focusing more on turning my whole arm, right? So I can get that position where I just don't really focus too much on turning the squeegee. I'm turning more my whole arm to get that perfect position. Right, so if I move over here and use a pivoting handle, I can still do exactly the same manoeuvre, but I'm going to get slightly better turns and positioning, but it's actually more for the advanced window cleaner. So the good thing about having a pivoting tool is it gives you better positioning, but when you don't have the knack of getting a great positioning, using a standard handle will probably be better for you, and then you can advance later on once you learn your tool and technique positioning. Right, so that's basically the technique that I do here. I start roughly in the middle, and I make sure my squeegee is buffed up exactly the same on both sides. I don't start on one side of the window and finish on the edge of this frame here. I'm always going to finish in the middle, because these windows are always going to close out on the bottom. Right, so the other manoeuvre that I'm going to focus on these types of windows, if I know I can hit and get good results, I'm going to go for a minimum manoeuvre. There's lots of ways of starting the minimum manoeuvre, but that's how I start it, because I want to make sure that my squeegee is going to come straight down, and I don't have to close out to the edge there. So basically like a straight pull. Now, if I used a slightly bigger squeegee, I wouldn't have the adjustments that I needed to make here, but this is really advanced, and I really advise no one to do this on this type of window unless you're really good at positioning and you've got a nice window to work on. So here is the straight pull. So we do straight pulls in my work, but it's not the standard straight pull. So I'm taking most of that edge out here, but I've come up here. But first of all, I took that edge out here, and then I readjust the position and do the straight pull. So they're the two main squeegee techniques that I do on this type of shaped window. Moving over here, we've got an opener window here. So what I need here is a squeegee that's got a nice hook to it. This hasn't got a hook to it, so I use the right type of tool, the right type of window, and environment that I'm working in. So there's two shapes, sizes that I'm going to work with on this type of window here, and I'm going to do the figure eight manoeuvre. So on this particular window, I can use an 8-inch, and I can make sure that my squeegees will travel nicely against that top edge, and when I come down here, it's just one place, one time, and that's it. So zero detail, zero mistake, and I'm actually using this sort of angle. So some windows are problematic going at this angle with these squeegees, so I've got another shape and size, I should say, where I'm going to go more vertical, and that's going to help my squeegee not scrape and judder against the frame there. So This is a 6-inch, the other one was an 8-inch. And I'm going to make exactly the same figure 8 manoeuvre, just with using a smaller squeegee. And again, right time, right place, just use the squeegee once in that place and that's it. No need for any detailing on that glass. So this is for more difficult windows. I have the squeegee more vertical. On easier windows, I use a slightly bigger squeegee. But I can't use that angle there because it's not going to fit in the window, but I can use it here. And because he's going to slide against that frame, I can use that angle and I'll get the window cleaned even quicker. But it's either an 8-inch up there or a 6-inch. And that's basically that. So on this last one, I am still going to focus on the figure 8 manoeuvre. I'm going to use 2 different types of squeegee handles. Right, so I don't work here often, but I will do some examples of doing that in a second. Right, so I want to close out on the bottom here, away from these frames. So I'll start in the middle, I come down, and it's still like a figure 8 manoeuvre. Okay, and then I can close out. So I call that more of a minimum type manoeuvre. Right, so that's a stiff handle, but this is a manoeuvring handle, and I can get better positioning with that same technique using the same size. This is 14-inch. I can get better turns, so I get better positioning, and I can really focus on, again, this is a flat handle, this is a flat handle, so that windows that I know I'm going to work down lower, I'm going to use flat handles. Up high, I'm going to use a hooked handle. I just get better positioning power with the pivoting tool, but it's not really pivoting. You wouldn't know it's pivoting. It is pivoting, but I've got my thumb over here, so it's like a pressured pivot. So it gives the turn when I need it to turn. It gives the stance that I need because I want to be working really like this most of the time. Okay, not like this. That's more for pole work. In the hand, I want to use the length of the squeegee most of the time. So some other examples of working on this particular window. You notice I'm not doing the down, up and over manoeuvre on this because this is a different window to that. So down, up and over manoeuvre on this, on the pole and in the hand. Figure 8 manoeuvre here, and over here we're going to start over on the side. I can come down and cut up, or just cut up. So let's just cut up. I want to get this done again in minimum manoeuvres, and I can either do it in 3 manoeuvres like this, but I'm going to close out to the edge here, which is sometimes a problem, or I can just about get it in a full circle, squared circle. No, probably can't because I don't have the length of the channel. So you notice that I took as much as I could have, and then I'll close out here. So if I had a slightly longer squeegee, I can get it fully all the way around. But the problem with working like that is you're always wearing out one side of the squeegee more than the other. Very rarely will people be doing it this way if they're right-handed. But it's not something that I wouldn't rule out, but don't work like me. Just listen to the information that I say. So this is again figure 8 manoeuvre, similar to this, but because it's a bit wider, I'm using a bigger squeegee, and this is where I want to close out on the bottom, and that's my main techniques that I use on that type of window, that type of window, and that type of window. And that's the thing that I repeat over and over and over. But there's one exception, I should say, on this window here, before it starts really raining. If it's really hot, I'm going to take my squeegee size down a little bit. I'm not going to set the whole window up. I'm just going to do one side. I'm still going to use 2 hands. Should have mentioned always use 2 hands. People like Darren Green will tell you to close out to the side all the time and only use 1 hand. He doesn't tell you to use 1 hand, but that's all he uses. This is the information that a lot of these so-called guru window cleaners will give. It's just rubbish information. So I do that side of the window first, and I do this side of the window afterwards. I soak that side up first and soak this up, because if I soaked up the whole lot, it's all steaming off. because it's like 30 plus degrees, and yeah, we have to adapt. And only adapting window cleaners are the best performing window cleaners. So I'm going to start here. Sun's beating down. I'm using 2 hands. I'm using a smaller size squeegee because this solution is really drying out quick. So I need a smaller surface area because the window's drying too quick. And if I use a bigger surface area, I've got more friction. So I want to scale back the size in the heat and then make the sizes bigger when it's weather like this, where it's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool when you don't work like everybody else.